How do you find the time necessary to devote to multiple hobbies/interests while still having time for a normal life outside of geekdom? That's assuming that we have one. And in your case, when it's your job, how do you keep what should be fun from becoming a chore, like vomiting or not enjoying a game? Thanks for the radness, Evan Marquez, North Glen, Colorado. Interesting question, Evan.
Yeah.
It is a difficult geek juggling act. Jeffrey, how do you handle it?
Oh, you've seen my geek juggling act.
It's amazing.
Although keyboards and CPUs.
Oh, I was thinking more of like the geek, like eating heads off chickens. But go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I did that. Wordplay.
I will say it is a challenge. You know, that's assuming that we even have normal lives. But yeah, I mean, I try to do stuff all the time that is not this show and under this purview. You know, I play basketball on the weekends, and I try to do lots of different stuff. But I tend to find that when I sit down in front of the television or when I'm going to pop in a video game, less and less am I able to do something that is not applicable to the show, and that's a challenge. And the second part of his question, which is, you know, how does that not become a chore at a certain point? I think, you know, it tends to be the case that anything you do in life that you have to do feels like a chore at sometimes. But I think we have the luxury of being able to really decide what we want to talk about on this show. So I love all the stuff that we're able to do, but it does get jam-packed and it's not easy. So basically, I don't have an answer. Somehow
doesn't
it
is
all
the answer.
fits in.
Yeah.
Dan, what about you?
There's a lot of cramming sometimes.
There's definitely times where it does feel like work because there's a lot to get done. But for the most part, it is really all stuff that I've been consuming anyway. So the show is just a way to
Monetize that?
Yeah, just make it, you know, a job. But you know, as far as normal life outside of stuff, that doesn't really exist for me. I mean, even if I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, we're going to the movies or watching TV or reading a comic.
I think more to the point, it's when people say, well, I want to make a web show. What should I make a web show about? The thing is, we made a web show about the stuff we're genuinely interested in.
So we're already doing this.
We're already doing it.
Anyway. I mean, for me, the biggest affronter of all this time suck is the TiVo.
Yeah.
You think it wouldn't. You think because we can now record things that you don't have to be on schedule, but because of that ability, I record more
stuff,
and it just sits there going, watch me.
There's nothing more daunting than seeing that I only have 20% left, and then it's like, I gotta clear that TiVo, and it becomes
You're not gonna just delete
work.
it. You're gonna watch it.
It is absolutely
Which isn't for the show.
Work.
So it's almost like work. You've made that your work.
Yeah,
that's true. That's my
job.
extracurricular movie watching.
For me, I will say that I actually appreciate the fact that I'm forcing myself to play games that I wouldn't play. Usually for games. Most movies, it's like fun excuse for 2 hours and you're done. Games is where it gets really, really difficult week to week, is because you have 2 days and you want to play as much, you know, like I wanted to get through Ghostbusters, and that takes however many hours. You know, I put 20 hours into Mass Effect, and that didn't even finish the game, but that's 20 hours in 3 days, because you only have 3 days. Whereas before, I might pick up Mass Effect, and then that's the game that I play for 2 months, and then I switch to a new game. So the thing that I actually really like about doing this show is it forces me to sit down and play these games. I've played more games in the last 2 years than I probably have in my entire life, because I was not the guy who would pick up a game on Monday, be done with it by Wednesday, and then want to pick up a game on Thursday to play more. I would usually just scratch all of those games and play WoW.
That's a whole other discussion that we should have on another episode about the kind of balance of when you see these reviews online, and even our discussions of stuff on the show is based on a very compressed amount of time to be able to even do it. And a lot of people don't experience their media that way. A lot of people relax and pop in when they have time, or play an hour here. And it is different. So, I mean, that's another discussion.
And the other thing I was going to say was, it's really easy for me to disassociate the fact that I have to play something or I have to watch something. If it's enjoyable, it's enjoyable. If it's not enjoyable, it's not enjoyable, and I have to be doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it may exacerbate the fact that I don't like something, but it never goes from, wow, this would be enjoyable if I didn't have to play it. That to me, sort of apples and oranges.